Hello everybody, it's Dylan from Yugioh Everything, and welcome to another Yugioh VRains episode review. Before I begin, I want to start with a rhetorical question. If it's possible that every episode of VRains becomes my new favorite episode, more so than the last week, because that has now happened 3 straight weeks, where episode 5 was my favorite, then episode 6 was, and now episode 7. What an episode, and to have such an emotional moment at the end of an episode, 7 episodes into Yugioh VRains, when we got introduced to this character last week, is absolutely exceptional. And about that moment, I have to go back to Kaito's moon death. That was the last time that upon rewatching it, because I rewatched the episode after I live reacted to it, that I actually had to kind of hold back tears almost at how upsetting and how well done and beautiful that final scene was. The last time that happened was Kaito's moon death. The only other times it's happened was twice in 5Ds and Janucci, Joey's, and Duel Monsters. I don't want to say the ones that were in 5Ds, but I'm sure you guys, it was Carly's from the Dark Signers arc, and I'm sure you guys know the other one. That one's a little deeper into 5Ds, so I don't want to say that out of respect for maybe people who have not seen 5Ds and plan on finishing it, but I do believe that it was that powerful of a moment, and I'll tell you why, but I'll get to that later in the episode, and you guys can agree or disagree, but already like 25 people have commented on my reaction video that they were crying, that they, teared up, and again, to just have a tearjerker moment like that, almost a death scene, 7 episodes into VRains, is just... it's everything I could ask for. This show has so far been everything I could ask for. It's delivered on almost everything that I have wanted to see. Cough, cough, minus the other summoning methods, cough, cough. But you know what? It doesn't even matter about that right now. Hopefully we will see them at some point. But besides that, it's been an almost... at least from my point of view, of course, everyone looks for different things in a Yu-Gi-Oh show. For me, it's just been an absolutely beautiful start for Yu-Gi-Oh! VRains. And this is what also happens when you take episodes to focus on the plot. Episode 6 was all about Aoi's character, and you take each episode after a duel to focus on a character and build them up and show their complexities. That is how an anime is written. That is how a Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime should be written, in my opinion. I know a lot of people are like, oh, just, duel every episode. But to me, you do that, and you kind of end up with a jumbled plot and characters that you don't really care about. And when you take full episodes to build up characters, you get moments like this, where at the end of the duel, not only was the duel, I thought, phenomenal, I thought the duel was actually really, really well. For a 1-episode duel, it finally felt like a genuine speed duel. It felt like a fast duel, a lot of good back and forth action. The trick stars were shown off in a really, really cool way, along with Encode Talker. We saw the debut of Encode Talker, not Decode Talker, Encode Talker. I'm trying to stay linear, guys, but it just was such an enjoyable episode. So the duel begins with Aoi immediately doing loads of burn damage to Yusaku. She has a trickster monster on the field that pretty much the entire time, every time Yusaku draws a card, he loses 200 points of damage, and thanks to a spell card, every time he takes effect damage or regular damage, I actually think it's just regular damage, he takes another 200 points of damage. So every time he draws, he's essentially taking 400 life points of damage. Yusaku goes, and on his first turn, he really has no chance. I mean, he has a decent turn. He gets to Code Talker out, and again, with the Link Summoning animation, the second time he Link Summoned, go back and watch it. It was the second time he Link Summoned. The third time he Link Summoned Decode Talker. He says what he's using in the Link markers before he goes into the portal, and I thought that audio might have actually been mistimed with the animation, because then you see his mouth move when he normally says it, and like he moves his arm, but he doesn't say anything. I even noticed it when I live reacted to that. Just go back and watch that scene, the second Link summoning, because I think they might have made an editing mistake there, that the audio was supposed to be a little later on in the actual episode. Like it was a little early by like 2 seconds or so. Or that's what they were trying to do, but it doesn't really make sense because Yusaku's mouth moves. So I thought they were going to speed it up there, but then they still showed us the animation of the monsters going into the Link markers. And while it's not a big issue I have right now, I could see it by like episode 19, episode 20, and then, God forbid, episode 110, episode 120, being kind of annoying, and I hope they do cut down the Link summoning. They don't need to cut it down when there's a new monster, or when, like, for the Encode Talker, you could do the full one there. I don't mind that. If it's a new monster, cool. But how many times is he gonna Link summon Link Spider, or Link Bumper, for instance? By the 30th time he's Link summoned these monsters, it's going to be kind of annoying to just have to watch 30 seconds of him link summoning. And hopefully, again, because it doesn't really annoy me right now, hopefully they do work on that, and I'm confident that they will. I'm confident that they'll realize, all right, they've seen this enough. They've seen the Link Spider summon with Bitron 40 times. Let's just make him say what he's doing. We won't even show Bitron going into the marker. We'll just show the marker lit up, and then he link summons Link Spider, or something like that. So, a way to speed it up. But Yusaku does link summon, not 4 times like he did in the Go duel. He link summons consecutively 3 times. He gets Decode Talker out, and Aoi plays what to me is like almost a trump card in the Trickstar deck, Trickstar Reincarnation, where you banish your entire hand and draw new cards. So Yusaku has to draw 4 new cards. That's 4 times 200. That's 800 points of damage, plus the spell card, so that's 1,000 points of damage. So immediately Yusaku, from effect damage, has gone from 4,000 to 3,600, down to 2,600. And I know, 2,400, because when he drew for his turn, he took another 200. So effect damage has already gotten him almost halfway down his life. And at this point, Yusaku hasn't even ended his turn, so we haven't even had one full turn where both duelists got to go, and he's already lost about half his life points from burn damage. But also because of this, Holly Angel continues to increase her attack points. So now she has 3,000 attack points. Decode Talker ends up getting destroyed, and Yusaku ends up taking... He doesn't take damage. He doesn't take damage, actually. But because of one of Aoi's traps, Decode Talker still gets destroyed. So Yusaku ends up special summoning a monster, but because there's no main phase 2, besides that, his field is pretty wide open. He didn't play any face down cards or anything like that. And then Aoi draws the Hanoi card. She draws the Hanoi card. I believe it was like Evil Angel or something like that. So she draws the Hanoi card, and immediately she starts to show signs of like weariness and amnesia. She starts to show signs of weakness, fatigue. She's like having trouble standing on her D-board. Yusaku notices it. The AI notices it. Even Akira notices it. And Akira's watching, and we get a great flashback where Aoi and Akira, maybe they are blood related. I don't think they are, but maybe it was a situation where Akira's dad married Aoi's mom, and that's how they became stepbrother and sister. That would make sense. And their parents were just killed, and I'm assuming a car accident, because you saw 2 cars that were collided, and car accidents are not new to Yu-Gi-Oh! We had, I believe, Noah Kaiba. I believe he was hit by a car, or his parents were hit by a car. I might be completely wrong about that. The one that I definitely remember is Misty, the Dark Signer from 5Ds. She was actually killed in a car accident and was reborn as a Dark Signer. So car accidents, and there's definitely been other cases of it. They're not new to Yu-Gi-Oh! At all. That's probably what they were implying by showing that picture while Akira was talking about it. And he talked about how he worked so hard, he worked so vigorously to make sure that his little sister never needed to worry about anything. Why doesn't she understand this? And again, I know I said it so many times, but some people need more emotional than monetary support. And while Akira, this episode did convince me that Akira, his mind is in the right place when it comes to his sister, but his heart and his emotions maybe are not, telling his sister not to speed duel, not to be an idol, which is the only thing she has going for him, which is the only thing she has going for her, and to try to take that away from her in the last episode, and to never be there for her, and to never be home, and to always be working, while, again, he's doing it for her. She's not really responding to that, and you understand the conundrum that he's in, you understand the conundrum that they are in as brother and sister, and you do feel bad for the situation, and you kind of you gain respect for Akira. You definitely gain a little bit of respect for him. I still think he's a little cold cut around the edges, but that's just me personally. And Aoi ends up using the Knight of Hanoi card because it's the only card she has left. She uses Hanoi's card, and she ends up getting... This is after Yusaku has summoned Encode Talker onto the field. He went into a Data Storm to get it, and she ends up getting possessed. You can see Revolver appear in her eyes, telling her that she's a Knight of Hanoi when she was trying to say, "I'm Blue Angel," because it seems like she actually, even before that, repeated to herself, like, "I'm Blue Angel, why am I starting to lose it? I have to keep it together." So she was clearly starting to get under the influence of this. And with this possession, it means that every female has been possessed. Every female protagonist has been possessed in Yu-Gi-Oh! Honestly, this was done well, though. This was done well. This wasn't like a 10-episode possession, which I think in Arc 5 that was the only case it happened. Anzu's was, I think, a couple of episodes in Duel Monsters when Marek possessed her. And Asuka's was actually a few episodes when she was with the Society of Light. But this was done really, really well, because she was only possessed for like a minute or two. First of all, she has like the JoJo's reference where she's like, Muda, 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 which I absolutely loved that scene upon rewatching it, and that's when you can tell she really loses it. I mean, it's identical to Yuya's Berserk state from Arc 5, and it's funny because the AI, Ignis, actually says to Yusaku, if she's in Berserk for any longer, she's going to start to take severe mental damage. And we know from the preview, we know from the episode 8 summary, that she is in comatose. Aoi Aizen goes into comatose because of this, which is just makes the scene that much more upsetting. And if you're not familiar with comatose, it just means you're in a coma, which can last for a day. It could also last for 20 years. It could also, you could just never recover and pass away in your state. So there's definitely reason to be concerned for her. Not even for her character, just for her genuine well-being. I mean, hopefully, even if it takes like 10 episodes, hopefully she recovers and recovers fully, because, again, when you come out of a coma, sometimes you even lose memory, you lose emotion. Not only you lose emotion, that's not really the best way to put it, but you kind of lose who you are. You lose brain cells, you lose intelligence, you can lose so much. So I'm just hoping that she really has a good recovery, and the fact that I'm that invested in her safety and her well-being, and I think a lot of people are, again, speaks volumes to the character writing that we've gotten these last 2 episodes. Aoi ends up screaming. She ends up going through like an exorcism, which was tough to watch. I'm literally just sitting there. First time I reacted to it, and the second time of asking when I was watching, I was like, Yusaku, just end this duel, man. And he's trying to end it. Akira, you can see how panicky he's getting. He's telling his 2 female employees to shut down the system, shut down the circuits. He'll take the responsibility. He'll take the blame. And they can't shut it down due to a system error. And Akira, you can see just the anger and grievance on his face. He's visiting his sister in the episode 8 preview, so at least he cares about her that much to visit her, which, I mean, you would kind of imagine that he would. And the best scene, the emotional scene that I was talking about, when Encode Talker goes in for the attack, we see Aoi lose her wings. There's a quote that I immediately thought of, and it's like, living unloved is like clipping a bird's wings and not letting it fly, and not having it being able to fly. Something along those lines. And I really just thought about it, really the second time I was watching it. And Aoi put all of her eggs in this basket. She has, as we know, no friends in the real world. Her brother is distant and kind of a cold to her, in her own words, and everyone uses her. Her brother doesn't trust her. She said that. She put all her eggs into this basket to defeat Playmaker, to get the admiration of her brother. And she loses her wings. She loses her ability to fly, so to speak, to be the idol of VRains. And upon doing that, tears start to fall from her eyes, because I think she's realized at this point that nothing is worth it anymore. And the music, I know the music composer's taken a bit of heat. I know that's been a bit of a criticism, that the music hasn't been great. The music in this final scene to end the episode was absolutely phenomenal. And the fact that when Encode Talker destroyed Holy Angel and you didn't hear the explosion sound effect, it was just dead silence, but this beautiful piano orchestra music while Blue Angel is falling from her board and takes the damage and is falling with tears in her eyes into a state of comatose, you have to imagine. That's kind of what the symbolism was there. That she has nothing left, that she failed to defeat Playmaker. She was humiliated in front of all of her fans by Revolver, by Spectre, by the Knights of Hanoi, which, by the way, they villainized those characters magnificently in this episode. And all of a sudden, my theory about them all forming a team, which I think was a lot of people's theories, I don't really know how they get past this, especially from the episode 8 dialogue. It seems Yusaku has a lot of hatred towards Revolver. That scene was so brilliant, and to have a tear-jerking scene this early in the show was amazing. I don't want to talk much longer. This review is getting pretty long as it is. But guys, leave all your thoughts down below. I will talk to you guys for about an hour or so after I upload this, and then I'll talk to you guys way later tonight because I am going to Six Flags probably like an hour after I upload this. So don't worry, I will try to answer every comment as usual that I get on this video. Let me know if you love this episode. Let me know all your thoughts about this episode. I could talk for so much longer, but we're already hitting like the 15-minute mark, and I don't want to keep you guys here for that long. So I hope you all have an amazing, amazing day. Thank you guys for watching.